Right, okay, this is an interesting one this week, and this is all to do with parts. Yeah, I seem to get it quite a lot, lack of communication, and I think partly it's my fault and partly it's the people on the other end of the telephone. Yeah, so you phone up and you ask for certain parts, they send them to you and they're absolutely wrong. Yeah, and you think, right, okay, what did I say that was wrong? Sometimes, and I had it this week, they send you the right part number, they send you the right description, and it turns out the wrong part is in the box, and I keep getting that. I had this with a Sprinter this week. Asked for a left-hand wishbone. What did I get? I got a right-hand wishbone in a left-hand wishbone bag. Yeah, that was a good one. There was a Lemforder one, and I'm thinking, well, okay, it's just normal. Yeah. If you work, for instance, in a place or you go into a place where you can look at the picture and you know what you want and you go, I want that, that's the way to do it. Yeah, so either that or you take a photograph and then you show them. Yeah, or if you have a parts manual, even better, you just ring it and say, I want that part number, please supply me that, how much is it, blah blah blah. Yeah, so anyway, with this one here, this is the gearbox to chassis linkage. It's a stabiliser bar more than anything. There's two engine mounts on this, and one is actually attached to the gearbox and the other one is on the engine side. So what I'm looking at here is I ring him up and I tell him what I want, and he says, well, that's listed as an engine mount. I said, all right, okay, I'll order it anyway. It was 80 odd quid, went to pick it up, and it was actually an engine mount bracket, yeah, which was for me was wrong. I said I wanted the one that fits on the gearbox to the chassis, and he's looking at because a chassis to me and chassis to him are two different things. He was correct in how he interpreted it, and maybe I was wrong the way I said it, but in my mind I was right. Yeah. So anyway, I had a look at his computer, pointed out what I want. This is part number 5. Yeah, number 5. That's it. That's part number 5. And we agreed, ordered it. This was 53 quid. Okay, it's a stock order, can't return. Or sorry, it's a special order, not a stock order. Yeah, description is end stock link. That's all it says. Yeah, I've got the right one now, hopefully. For the vehicle, I'm going to go and fit it. Yeah, it's only 2 bolts. It's not a biggie. The engine, when you're taking up drive or even just putting a few revs on it, knocks like hell because the engine is not stabilised enough. Yeah, these do knock out on Citroens. I'm sure that a few people have worked on these type of cars and vans to change these. So underneath the car, what we have is, you can see the exhaust here. Okay, this is this component here, okay, which is a stabiliser bar, not an engine mount. However, it's fixed to the chassis on this point, and the gearbox is over here, right? So you can see the misunderstanding we had, parts people. What the problem is, you can see that actually bangs. Actually bangs on idle like this, but when you take up drive, bang, 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 it's actually really uncomfortable. Yeah. So what we have are 2 bolts, and I've put some donkey jizz on it in here and in here. Hopefully that'll be okay. These are captive bolts, or captive nuts should I say, which could cause a problem if the bolt's seized. So I'm going to give it a tug. Oh, actually no, that was all right. Oh, look at that, that's all right. You can see this part moving, can't you? Just here, yeah. But the problem sometimes is that you'll wind it up so far it'll get clogged up with rust, and then it'll get stuck, and then it can rip this out, which is what I'm always worried about. But it seems to be okay. So let's see how the other one goes. This is a 17mm head spanner. Okay. Right, so that's done. This is the old one. You can see the bush rubber has been completely knocked out, yeah? So that's US. But what you'll see in the movement now, yeah, this is actually really, really tight. So this is all right. No knocking, yeah? No knocking from underneath. So anyway, yeah, communication is vital and getting it right. I've rung Land Rover up in the past, and this is the main dealer Land Rover, and you've got to take into consideration that some people that are employed now don't know what a steering box is, because everything's rack and pinion, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm asking for a drop arm ball joint, yeah, and they didn't know what I was on about a drop arm, and I literally had to get a picture and send it to them, yeah. And this was a she. She's efficient at everything she does on Discoveries, Freelanders and everything else, but when it comes to Defenders, she's not seen anything like that. She's taken over from a guy that had worked there before. He knew his stuff like the back of his hand, yeah. To me, that is slightly professionally incompetent. What we do now, whenever we can, and this has happened recently, she said, have you got a part number for that when we've ordered something? And it's like, yeah, okay, well, supply us your parts data and I will give you part numbers, and I'll tell you what, I will do your job and I will order the stuff from you, yeah. Taking into account that we have to buy genuine parts, we cannot get out of it. So I've developed not an angry relationship, but an informative relationship where I will go in with a list of stuff that I want, and I will stand there at the computer with her and point all this stuff out, and this is what it's coming to, yeah. You've got to show. Words on telephone don't mean much. These parts people, yeah, they've got hard jobs to do. They really have a hard job to do in trying to interpret what you're saying. You're not to forget that French cars, British cars, Land Rover cars, whatever, they will all have different interpretations of their parts. Yeah, we all know what an engine is, we all know what a gearbox is, we all know what a radiator is, but when it comes to the other parts, then you start to get into a tricky area. They always want a registration number. Sometimes that does not work. Chassis number will always work when you go to main dealers, yeah. Sometimes you'll buy something from, say, Euro Parts, and that will be you'll get the wrong bits, slightly different from what you want, and they'll say, well, yeah, that was on a changeover year. I've heard that so often, it is now sort of, I expect it, yeah. So if I can, I'll take the bits off and I'll show them, yeah, or photograph, yeah. Best way to do it, yeah. It's a little bit of advice for you guys who are repairing your stuff on your drive to cut down the frustration. Part numbers, if you can find them, photographs or part manuals, pictures, or simply take the bit off and take it there, identify it, and then you won't go wrong. Good thing about this, I didn't know, I should have stripped it and gone to the straight to the parts place, is that you've got a part number on there, which is pretty good reference, yeah, that I like. I know some Land Rover guys have issues with different years of vehicles and the fact that anything could be chucked on the vehicle and you can't ID it, or it's a hybrid vehicle that's been made out of 5 different ones. That then becomes a real nightmare, and this is where you need knowledge, you need your mates on the internet to identify stuff, yeah. But other than that, like me, I work in a franchise dealership, yeah, and if I want that parts, I just say I want that and that, and I've got it, yeah. Trailer bits different, yeah, because they go by axles, yeah, and they go by manufacturers' body types, yeah, so you've got to be on the ball there. Parts men don't like them because they have to start looking through books and everything else, yeah. Other types of vehicles, again, we have the same trouble. If we're working on an Iveco and we have to ring up for bits, yeah, we've got to make sure that our communication is perfect. Otherwise we get the wrong bits and we have to start again, and it is almost a daily occurrence, yeah. So anyway, it's enough from me today. Just you know, it's just one of them things, yeah. So these people who have been doing this for a while know this. Guys who are just starting to fix their cars, you know this is going to be a hassle, yeah, you know it's going to be a hassle. So pre-warned is pre-armed, yeah. So anyway, I've got to go and whack this on now, and then once I've actually got to fix the bumper, pump the tyres up, get it off to MOT, and boom, finished. Yeah, hopefully that'll pass. I've done everything I can. As long as the brake efficiency is up and it's all right, I'm quite happy. Put a new set of wipers on there, £18. 53 for this. There's a spring and some ball joints and everything else, and hopefully we'll be all right. I've got a lot of miles to do this year now. Yeah, new job.